How do I want to spend this 3 minutes? I think I want to tell you how to tell better stories. It's probably good to talk about a long day. I was literally walking out after our cohorts, been running all day with different groups of leaders, talking about some great things, but my brain was almost feeling fried. So I jumped in my truck. I left the office and I thought, I haven't filmed a video today. So I turned around, parked, came back in, hit the record button. Yep, that's part of 365 days of doing videos. So thought we would do a 3-minute takeaway. Get one of these balled up ones. This one's good here. Whew. Almost forgot. That would have been bad if I would have got here tomorrow and I forgot because I had some brain fry going on. My voice is cracking. Woo. Long day. All right, the most influential leaders tell better stories. Ooh. Most influential leaders tell better stories. Okay. 3 minutes. How do I want to spend this 3 minutes? I think I want to tell you how to tell better stories. That's probably a good one because you are an influential leader, especially if you're watching this video. Now, some videos are very broad. The 3-minute takeaways are just, how do I get better in that 3 minutes? So let's talk about telling better stories. I'd say one of the best things that I have learned about storytelling, and I've probably mentioned it in a couple videos. I know Joseph and I did a video series on communication or being a better communicator. We talked about this in the most viewed video of that series. It was really the 3-act approach to stories. Why do we love movies so much? Well, because there is a pattern to a great story. And a lot of times we can tell if we're listening to a great story, but we don't actually know the ingredients that make that great story. So let's talk about it. All right, the first thing is the exposition of a story. You need to know what is going on, what's happening, where it's taking place at, the setting, the details, but not too much details in the exposition because too many details will cause your brain to go further than it needs to go or to think about other things or not know exactly what's important and what's not important. So you need enough exposition. Then you need conflict. That's Act 2. You need conflict. And usually there's an inciting incident between the exposition and the conflict. You have an inciting incident that thrusts you in to that conflict. Think about any good movie. What's coming to mind right now is Star Wars. Think about A New Hope, the first Star Wars that came out. Right, you had exposition. You learned that Luke Skywalker was this person and that C-3PO and R2-D2 they were trying to find someone who would be Obi-Wan Kenobi, and Princess Leia was in trouble. There was some exposition there. But then there was an inciting incident, and that's when the stormtroopers came and took out Luke's aunt and uncle. And then all of a sudden, the whole dynamic changed. We're thrust into conflict. Conflict creates action. So in Act 2, there's this conflict-action circle. Conflict, and then an action happens that resolves or releases the conflict, and then another conflict. And that's going to continue in Act 2 all the way to get to Act 3, which is resolution. How is the conflict resolved? And in a series like Star Wars, 30 seconds. In a series like Star Wars, it only opens up another conflict loop, but in the second episode and third episode and 50th episode and whatever they're on right now, you can keep opening up these conflict loops. But there is many conflicts inside of a big conflict that is at least resolved for the moment. So those are your 3 acts: exposition, conflict, and resolution. And there's some things in the middle, like your inciting incident and the conflict action loop, and then the resolution, again, should not be too long. You shouldn't have this long, drawn-out resolution. Just close the story loop. The thing that I would tell you from a communication standpoint is many times it's going to have a lesson in the story. And you just want to be clear about what that lesson is. Why did you tell the story? So, the most influential leaders tell better stories. It's more about how to tell that story. Make sure that as you are guiding and leading and moving people along, facts tell, but stories sell. Go tell some better stories. I'll see you tomorrow.